Hey, what's good, everybody? Comment, like, subscribe, share the video. I've been watching so many videos and I've been commenting on a lot of the situation with the whole Minneapolis ICE, you know, situation where that woman ended up losing her life. And I'm gonna say what a lot of people won't tell you, and both sides were wrong because you're not going to hear that from anybody else. You're going to hear either this man committed murder, or you're going to hear, oh, he was justified because, you know, he's an agent and he's following the law, and, you know, our president says it's okay. So since, you know, that's what you're going to hear, you know, and if that's what you want somebody to choose a side, then this is the wrong place for you. I see it as both people were wrong. Now, obviously, one was more wrong than the other, so technically it feels like I'm choosing a side, though I'm not. And, you know, I'm not going to give you suspense here. I think the agent was in the wrong, more so than this person, Renee Good. And the reason as to why is because I felt like he could have let the situation de-escalate. He could have allowed them to leave. As much as people thinking, oh no, she was planning on running people over, she was not planning on that. She was turning her vehicle. I've seen it from so many angles, this footage, and people were trying to point out, no, you see, she was turning to the right to line up the officer to run him over, the agent. That's not the case. She was moving more. She thought she could cut between where the wife and the agent were trying to run through, between there and go off. And she wasn't speeding up. I don't know if y'all know what it's like to live in an area with snow. I live on the East Coast, so I deal with snow. I know what it's like. When you get on ice or on a patch of snow, guess what you gotta do? Especially if your tires aren't perfect, you gotta hit the gas some, and sometimes your tires are gonna spin out, and it's not spinning out. She wasn't spinning out to get speed to be able to run the man over. She was getting speed to get off of the ice and be able to move. And, you know, so that's just in case people don't know what it's like to drive in snow and thinking that in that video that's what was happening. No, she was trying to get off the snow so that she can go. I think the officer, the agent, he took it too personally. They were very much disrespectful to him. They were not complying with none of his orders. But at the same time, he had their information. He had their license plate. He could have found them later. He could have gotten them later. Could have gotten, you know, paperwork drawn up like, hey, I'm charging you with obstruction, you know, interfering with this case. You could even have bullshitted with them, like say, hey, look, you attempted to hit me with this vehicle. Attempted vehicular assault, attempted assault with a deadly weapon. You could have done all this thing, but it could have been later down the line. Not in this current situation, because these people that are interfering with the ICE agents, they're not the main reason you're there. You're there to arrest these illegal people, right? Then you got to focus on that. And yes, at the same time, people should not be interfering with the agents. You should not be out here messing with the agents when they're just doing their jobs. Do I think they're going about it in a very wrong way? Yes. But don't interfere with them, because you're only going to bring a bigger problem. I think at most you can protest. You can record videos. You can do all these things, but physically getting involved or trying to use a vehicle to get involved, Bad idea, as we all just saw how it ended. Um, this is, this whole idea of ICE is not a bad idea, but it was just executed in a horrible way. Our president is not a very smart man. I'm independent, so before anybody says anything, oh, here comes this liberal, or I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm none of that. I'm independent. I just don't like Trump, okay? And Republicans who are true Republicans, they, at one point agreed. But now a lot of people have lost their backbone and just go along with whatever Trump wants. So the way Trump announced the ICE agents made it look like it's a superhero agency that you can do as you please. They even have commercials where they use the Pokemon theme. You gotta catch them all, because I guess the immigrants are like Pokemons. You gotta get them, gotta get rid of all of them, I guess. This whole thing was done badly. They just made it like, hey, look, sign up to be an Avenger. That's pretty much what they want to push. A lot of people in that agency are not trained properly. A lot of them are just there thinking that they could be heroes and they could just, hey, like, remember that movie where you got to you saw that cool guy with the guns and doing this and doing that? They think they're gonna, relive those action sequences in real life. And if you got people like that on your agency, things like this can end up happening. You gotta have people out there that have that mindset to think, hey, I gotta de-escalate before things get to a point where someone could lose their life. And this was one of those situations. Remember, agents, they gotta read what's in their contract. And in their contract, I'm pretty sure it lets you know that you're putting your life on the line. Guess what a lot of these people that are out here protesting and then they talk and get in people's faces, guess what the last thing they're thinking about? The last thing they're thinking about is losing their life. They don't realize that they could lose their life by just getting involved. They don't think about that. But as an agent, you're supposed to think about that, because you know that you're putting your life on the line when you go out there to do that type of job. So because of that, you should know better. Again, it was completely done badly, because in my opinion, if I was running ICE, I wouldn't mind having an ICE agency if it meant going after violent, illegal immigrants. So if they get into this country and they have a horrible, violent crime, yeah, let's get them the hell out of here. And that's what you use an agency like that for. But if these are everyday people, and I understand that being in here illegally makes you a criminal, but it doesn't make you a violent criminal. So if it doesn't make you a violent criminal, you shouldn't use such force. I think we should come up with different ways to get rid of these people. If you want to get rid of them, that's fine. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying we got to come up with a better strategy for it. And ICE is not it. ICE is just full force on all of them. And that's not right. And because of that, that's why you have the people so against you. If you would have had a proper procedure for everyday people and then ICE style for the violent ones, you probably wouldn't have as much problems. But, we have this, and you have a president that feels like he could do whatever the hell he wants to do, and he promotes it, and he makes all his people feel that they can do whatever the hell they want to do. People are getting fed up, and then you have situations like this, and it becomes a bomb. Again, all sides are wrong here. But at the end of the day, the agent's decision ended up costing somebody their life. And because of that, he should be held responsible. That's just my opinion. That's the way I see it. But for all those people out there, don't get in these agents' faces. Don't interfere with this. The most you can do is protest and record. You have a camera. Record. That's fine. But don't get in these people's faces. Don't use your vehicles. Agents, be smarter with your decisions. If someone's behind a vehicle, guess what? Let them go. The last thing to do is go after somebody when they're inside of their vehicle. Let them get out. If everybody gets out of their vehicle at some point to go do whatever they gotta do, that's the moment you go after them. You don't wait for them to get in their vehicle so that their vehicle can be used as a weapon. Sometimes it feels like common sense is not so common. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Be respectful, because if you disrespect me, I'm gonna disrespect you. And I had a couple of disrespectful people, so I just let it be known. Like always, comment, like, subscribe, share the video.